Oh, yeah. You know what time it is. It's the Bitter Realtor Podcast. Hi, everybody. I'm your bitter host, Joey Rockenstein, and riding shotgun on this real estate voyage with me, Scott Goldman.
Hello, bitter people.
Looking bitter as always. Bitter Realtor Podcast is home to all things Los Angeles real estate. If it's got four walls and a roof, we're talking about it bitterly. Today's topic: why waiting for interest rates to fall might not be in your best interest as a buyer. Scott, that's a very long sentence for a show topic.
And it's not even a run-on.
Not at all. And it's grammatically correct.
It is grammatically correct.
I am very surprised about that. But tell me about it. Your experience as an agent. Why is it you don't want to dictate when you buy or sell even by the interest rates?
Well, because interest rates, like anything, they go up, they go down. And you can be worried about an interest rate, but while you're worrying about it, the price of the home is also going up. The value of the real estate's going up. And eventually rates will come back down. They traditionally do. And what do we do then? We refinance.
We refi.
We refi.
That's right.
Matter of fact, a lot of the mortgage people now, like Natalia, they make a great piece of business just on the refi.
Oh yeah, she says she was probably at her busiest when the rates came down to 3%, and the majority of the things that she was doing was refis.
Correct. So while there's a lot of home buying going on at a lower rate, there's also a lot of refi. So again, the more you wait, this is what Joey and I are talking about today, the longer you wait, the more you miss out. Now the other thing I just want to add is, I know it's not on our sheet, but a lot of people say, I'm just going to wait for the prices to come down. They don't. Okay.
So, which brings me to the point, because actually Barbara Kikorian, she said something on her social media recently.
From Shark Tank?
Yes. And I'm a name dropper.
Yeah, you are.
So she said, and I agree with this, that there are a lot of buyers right now who are kind of waiting in the wings for those interest rates to fall. Yep. And once they do drop, even to maybe the low sixes, they're going to come off the fence and flood the buyer pool. And what's that going to do? That is just going to cause more multiple offer situations, and that's going to drive housing prices up even higher.
So what's the old saying? Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate.
And wait.
And wait.
Or what is it as well? Date the rate, buy the house. No, marry the house.
Marry the house. Right. Don't, and just date the rate.
Right.
Well, the other one I heard is that unless you do what we do, a lot of people say you don't make money when you sell real estate. You only make money when you buy real estate. And a lot of people are confused by that as well.
How so?
Okay, so if I buy some real estate, it's now making money.
Right.
Pretty much from the day I bought it. It rarely goes the other way.
So we're talking about equity.
The equity will always, especially in our market, let's be real specific, in this market.
Los Angeles.
In the Los Angeles, Southern California market. I'm pointing because we're putting a little picture of it up there. Okay, so that means that when you buy real estate, you're now making money. Now, I'm not saying that if you then sell the real estate, let's say you bought something for $500,000 and you sold something for $1 million. Yes, you made $500,000, but you're not making any more money.
Right.
That's it. You may have realized a profit, but what's going to happen now when you made that $500,000, you're going to have to pay taxes on it. So now you're spending money. You only make money when you buy real estate. You do not make money when you sell it.
Because there's all kinds of things like capital gains tax.
And you're not, and you've sold off that property.
Right.
So there's nothing happening anymore. Now I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying that's a concept that realtors deal with all the time. So that goes along with, don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait.
Well, because that goes along to one of the next points, is that you want to start building equity as soon as you can. So let's say, for example, if you're waiting right now in the end of the year of 2023, and you want to maybe wait 6 months. Well, during that time, you could have bought now if you have the means and start to build that equity over that 6-month period and be better off than you would be if you had just waited and kept paying, let's say, rent, for example.
That's right.
So if you're just paying rent, you're just really paying your landlord's mortgage.
That's exactly right.
So you're just kind of pissing your money away.
Right. So, I mean, and that's okay for some people. I know some very wealthy people that have never bought a house.
True.
So they just like to be able to, I don't know, ditch if they have to.
Well, there's more freedom in that, I would
Well,
say.
right. I mean, there's always the fear that you're going to be stuck with this thing.
Right.
But that's, again, I don't think you can be stuck with real estate. Real estate will always sell if the price is right.
Correct.
So-
And also, too, you don't know like when the house that you really want is going to come on the market. So saying that you're going to wait really isn't going to benefit you that much, because
right.
considering now, especially here in Los Angeles, where there is an extreme housing inventory problem,
Glut.
so you got to kind of have your ducks in a row and be ready to pull the trigger at any given notice.
But you can't live in a silo.
Right.
For certain.
Which silos are very expensive to get.
Well, and
so.
you don't want a one-bedroom, 30,000 square foot silo. But the point is you can't, you have to be, you can't be, monolithic when you're thinking about home buying. You have to be thinking, horizontal. You have to be thinking what's going to be the best benefit in the long term, not what's going to be the best benefit in the next 36 hours. It's very important. So, and there's also a misconception now that I brought up timing.
Right.
What's this misconception about timing that people have,
Just that they're trying to time the market, they're trying to time everything. They're trying
Well,
to
they're
time
waiting,
interest
they're
rate.
waiting.
They're trying to time like the inventory. They're trying to time like when it's right for them.
It almost doesn't make sense. If you're in a position to buy, buy.
Right.
If you see something you like, buy, right?
I was just recently, I closed with one of my buyers who, first of all, like was trying to almost time certain things as far as when the properties would come on the market. And if it wasn't right for her, then she said, you know what, I'm just going to wait a while. Well, it's a good thing we didn't wait a while, because something did come on the market that was exactly what she wanted. And that's what when we went for it, and then we made it happen.
Good. So we'll put a picture up.
Right here?
Well, right, yeah.
There you go.
Not of her, of the
Right.
property.
We don't have signed waivers for that.
What do you think about interest rate drops and market flooding? Where are we going with that?
I mean, 2024 is probably going to be another interesting year for real estate. It seems like things are going to pick up after this year, especially because I think 2023 was a more difficult year to make deals happen.
Right.
And as far as flooding the market, yes. I mean, I see more buyers coming to the market. And also, like, especially since we have Gen Z who is looking to buy houses now, and baby boomers who are probably looking to downsize, I would say, perhaps. So I think there's going to be a very interesting turn of events as far as like what's coming to the market and the amount of buyers that are in the market to buy.
Well, and I think we all know that baby boomers are now in a position to buy a second or third home. And,
Correct.
Yeah. So that's an interesting.
Talk about people who have a lot of equity in their house.
They must.
Yeah.
Or they're actually a good demographic if you want to, for you realtors who have a good title company, ask your title company to pull you reports for baby boomers, because some of them are ready to sell, and a lot of them are really sick of being landlords. So.
I know I don't like being a landlord.
No, I don't either.
Right. I have no other properties, but just one. But I don't like being the landlord of my own house.
So, so that brings us to the next thing, like renting versus equity building. If you're going to own, and you want to own multiple properties, and you want to be a housing provider, that's great. That's a great way to build wealth, but there's a great deal of aggravation that goes along with it.
Absolutely. You got to put up, first of all, you got to put up with tenants.
Yep.
And some tenants are okay, some are horrible.
Yep.
And it's really disappointing because it used to be such a great way to make passive income, but now it's become an incredible, huge pain in the ass.
That's right.
To make that income, because you have to put up with so much, especially after all the laws that the city of Los Angeles imposed on housing providers,
We have
aka
problems.
landlords.
Yeah, we have squatting. We have squatting moratoriums and a variety of things. One of my clients right now has a squatter, so I'm particularly intimate with this issue.
And that's not fun, because how do you get them out?
The crowbar doesn't help.
I recently sold a property to where it was on the market 2 times that I had it. the first time around, there were tenants involved, and I could not give it away. Like, people just don't want to buy something that has tenants.
And that's the funny flip, right? Because some people will buy something, like they'll buy a triplex that's, got a full rent roll, or even an apartment building, and they want that.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But somebody who's like buying a duplex and the other part of the duplex is occupied and this person's planning to occupy the other duplex, they want that person out.
Yeah.
It's a
Like, hit the road.
yeah. Don't come back, Jack. I agree.
Right. But as soon as we got rid of the one side of the tenants, then it was the floodgates were open.
So it was this clear sale after that.
So it was amazing.
The term unencumbered comes up, and it's not just liens or arrears in mortgage payments. Properties can be encumbered by existing tenants. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Interest rate unpredictability.
It's true. Like, even now.
But I think we get a good idea.
But I would say that once the summer had ended, it was people were kind of talking about how interest rates were going to start ticking down, and they didn't. They kept going up.
Well, yeah.
They've
taken them up because they want to cool the economy down.
Well, okay, so yeah,
But now I think we're okay now.
So the Fed didn't help with that. So
No.
thank you, Fed. Appreciate that.
Do you like the visual aspect of the show?
I hope I do.
I hope I do too. Hope we can find the right chart.
Right.
Early equity benefits.
We'll kind of touch base on that a little bit, saying that it's better to start building your equity now, but also, like, equity is not just something that you accrue in the house. Like, it's something that can help you out in the long run. Like, for me, for example, like, I was able to tap into the equity in my house to be able to get out of debt. And that was a huge thing. So you want to start building that as soon as you can, because you don't know when you're going to need it to save you.
Right. I mean, it's better probably to use your house as a bit of a cash register to pay off higher interest cards.
Of course.
And a lot of people are able to buy down their rate. So
that's another option.
There are ways to get around these higher interest rates. I think you've got some great tax advantages being a homeowner.
Right. And also, okay, so what are the tax advantages between owning and renting? Like,
huge.
So you got to take advantage of that, especially if you work from home. Then you want to make sure you take advantage of that tax advantage.
Well, and there's other things to think about. I can write off the interest on my mortgage. I can 1031 exchange if I own
another great option.
Rental property. So there are a lot of great tax advantages too, which will certainly do a lot to overcome the higher interest rates. I think it's our job, really, and anybody watching or listening today, it's your job to educate your buyers that there are things that can mitigate these higher interest rates.
Right.
So.
And there's also emotional advantages, psychological aspects to being a homeowner versus renting. I feel like we kind of shifted this topic a little bit from talking about the interest rates, not waiting for them, to what it's like to really be a homeowner versus renting.
Well, there's a business side of it, but there's an emotional side of it.
Right.
When somebody's getting ready to drop $1 million, let me back up. Somebody's got $80, $90 million, they're not emotional.
No.
Somebody like you and me getting ready to drop $1 million, $1.3 million on a house, well, that's like, it's tough.
Yeah.
And believe me, I've been in a situation where I walked into an escrow office and the estimate said be ready to write a check for $17,000, and I walked in and they wanted $26,000, and I was catatonic.
Right.
Because that $9,000 was like everything in the world to me at the time.
Absolutely.
So, if you're the ultra wealthy, fine, you're not going to sweat it. But guys like us, and especially buyers that we work with, they're thinking about it a lot. So.
The other thing about the interest rates too, and I know a lot of people don't like hearing this, especially the younger generation, which is that it's less than what it was, say, decades ago.
Relatively speaking, it's still, the interest rates are
lower than the national average, I would say.
Well, they're not at the three. Listen.
Well, not national average, but lower than the average of like the past couple of decades.
Sure, and they were giving money away.
Right.
They were, and we had this huge housing bubble in 2008 when they were, people were getting loans that they wouldn't have loaned themselves money. So that was sort of overcome. But I think the biggest problem for home buyers now, interest rates, sure, but the lack of inventory. We didn't do a sales report.
Update, no.
Yeah, but we'll do it on the next show.
one, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think the current market opportunities are difficult.
I do know that it still shows a slight seller's market right now. So in most areas.
But sellers are, in our estimation, as we've spoken about, sellers are asking way too much money.
Oh, of course.
Right now, they're not reading the room.
Well, that's the thing too. Like buyers have become savvy enough to be able to sniff out houses that are priced too high. Like there's no more aspirational pricing like during the pandemic. Like that's gone.
Right.
That went away with the 3% interest rates.
Right.
So you have to be strategic as far as the way that you price your house if you want to attract those buyers who are looking to, jump in on that.
I actually think that's something when you've got a listing you're really good at. You do get good pricing.
Thanks so much. You heard it here.
He has a pushback from his sellers like we all do, but Joey seems to win the day. Must be his ginger looks.
It's unbelievable.
Okay.
Unbelievable. So I think to finish it up with the current market opportunities, again, you don't know when or where like the property you want is going to pop up. Let's say you're looking in a specific area, you could be waiting for a long time. Like you got to like be cognizant of like all areas that you're looking for your specific property. Like if you want to buy, let's say strictly in Sherman Oaks on one street, well, how do you know that there's going to be inventory on that street within the next year or so? So you really got to be open to the ideas of like when properties come on the market and being ready to get those properties, no matter what the interest rate is.
And to pile on that, I was told probably the best piece of advice I ever got when I went to buy my first home, find the worst home on the nicest street.
Exactly.
You can always fix the home, you can't fix the street.
You can't renovate the street.
That's right.
Right?
Okay.
If you guys have any questions about today's topic, why waiting for interest rates might not be in your best interest as a buyer, you can DM us on Instagram, email or call us. We'll put our contact info in the show notes.
We'll also put it right here for you.
There it is. Like, comment, and subscribe to Bitter Realtor on wherever you stream your podcast. I mean, we're now going to be on YouTube as well because you guys are watching us.
And we'll be on Spotify,
all that stuff.
On Apple.
You can listen to us and watch us at the same time.
I'm going to have a YouTube channel.
Right.
We're going to have a TikTok.
Find us on social media.
We're going to do X.
Joey Rockenstein.
Freds.
Scott Goldman. Bitter Realtor. For Scott Goldman, I'm Joey Rockenstein. This is a Bitter Realtor podcast.
Already.
Why am I bitter? Because I'm a realtor.